Now, in analyzing the ball and seat, we're going to try to look for excessive return going from the ball and seat assembly. And let's take a look at this chart. In this case, what we're going to see is we saw that fuel rail pressure goes to the top of pretty much the nozzle assembly. It goes ahead and hits the ball. So this ball and seat is what we're focusing primarily on. Therefore, you can do the return test trying to find out if you have excessive return, but at the same time, what we can do is apply air pressure here, and obviously have clean air shop air and dry too. And what you're going to do is pressure test here and go ahead and apply air pressure or do what we call a leak down test so you can see the rate of leakage. We like to use a pressure gauge where we'll pressure up to 100 pounds, close the valve, and we're trying to see if any pressure drops. If there's any pressure drops, then that's indicative of perhaps that maybe that ball and seat is excessively worn. So it's a great test to quickly test if one of those injectors has a worn ball and seat assembly. Now, on the other hand, as we look also at the injector here in my hand, I could see a nozzle assembly here. And what you want to analyze too as well is that, or keep in mind that the performance of the injector is how clean this assembly is. So as I look at the diagram once again, I can see that this can also get full of debris and contamination and also fill or have a carbon ring, if you will, on the end of this nozzle. So it's something that we need to look out for. But what all I'm just trying to say is that we got to make sure we got no problems at the coil. You need to ohm check them correctly, so something very critical to do. Now at that point, you have your ball and seat. And in this case, you want to make sure there are no issues with the ball and seat area. And lastly, there could be contamination in that nozzle assembly, which can actually cause it to stick and not inject properly. So let's not blame entirely everything on the ball and seat. All we're just saying is that it can get worn because of, again, lack of lubricity. That's what usually takes them out. But with enhancements that they have done with the injector, this ball and seat's a little bit more stout than earlier models. So it does, again, withstand a lot more when there is a lubricity issue with the injector. So, and by the way, if I didn't say that, let me recap on that is what keeps that ball and seat lubricated is the fuel itself as it goes through that injector. So keep that in mind.